Well, aside from death and taxes, there are only a few things you can really be certain of, like the fact that there is a Starbucks on every block of town. Now, even if you know the menu by heart, there are a number of things you don't know about Starbucks, and here are 26 of them. 26 words to live by. The company gives its baristas a few extra words of encouragement, but not always verbally. Sewn into the top inside of every apron is a black length of fabric that reads, quote, "We create inspired moments in each customer's day. Anticipate, connect, personalize, own." The message is placed in such a manner as to ensure the barista sees it every time they put on the apron. 25. On the go. Are you still going to the bricks and mortar Starbucks to order your beverage? Well, you better join up with the 21st century and jump onto your phone. More than 20% of customers use their mobile phones to place their orders, and that number will only continue to grow. So skip the lines and go online. 24. No smoking. Well before most other establishments banned smoking, Starbucks did so in the late 1980s. It had to do with the fact that coffee beans can absorb bad odors. Now that's according to former CEO Howard Schultz. And it's the same reason that baristas cannot wear cologne or perfume while on the job. 23. Shorties. Did you think the tall 12-ounce cup is the smallest size offered at Starbucks? Well, there is an 8-ounce cup that is used for hot chocolate for kids, appropriately called the short. So, if you don't need your regular Jolt or Joe, simply ask the barista for a short. 22. 10-minute rule. Now, this does not have anything to do with the dropping of food on the floor. This rule applies to the operating hours of Starbucks locations. They open 10 minutes earlier than the time posted and close 10 minutes later than posted. 21. Healthcare. For all employees who work more than 20 hours a week, Starbucks provides healthcare, even though it costs the company hundreds of millions of dollars. Former CEO Howard Schultz refused to cut costs or compromise on the issue, so Starbucks actually spends more money on healthcare than it does on coffee. 20. Undercover coffee shops. Did you know that Starbucks operates certain shops in disguise? A couple of examples are Roy Street Coffee and 15th Avenue Coffee and Tea in Seattle. They are owned by Starbucks, and they're operated as places where the company can test out new ideas and strategy. Across the U.S., there are many inauspicious coffee shops operated by Starbucks, so you might unknowingly be a test subject while you enjoy your cup of joe. 19. The Frappuccino effect. Now, that doesn't have anything to do with how you feel after imbibing the frothy concoction. It does refer to how Starbucks can affect the price of homes in nearby areas. After a Starbucks opens, home prices tend to noticeably increase. Since 1997, homes located near Starbucks have nearly doubled in value. 18. Know your role. While Starbucks is hugely successful with coffee, that success has not extended beyond the specialty and into the literary realm. In the 1990s, the company tried to sell a hard copy version of Microsoft's online magazine, Slate. Nobody picked up on it. Selections from Oprah's Book Club were stocked in stores in 1997, but that attracted little interest. In 1999, Starbucks took another shot with their very own literary publication called Joe. It was well-written, highly intellectual, and stylish, and it lasted all of 3 issues. 17. Tipping points. In 2008, some Starbucks baristas in California seemed to hit the jackpot when a San Diego court ruled that the company must pay back some $105 million. Now, that was based on tips owed them plus interest. The case stemmed from the company's policy of pooling tips and sharing them with all employees, including supervisors. But a class action lawsuit filed by an ex-barista challenged that under California law. Supervisors are not entitled to receive tips. So the judge agreed, saying that the practice was, quote, fundamentally unfair. But a year later, the Court of Appeals disagreed and reversed the judge's ruling. In the opinion of the Court of Appeals, supervisors, quote, essentially perform the same job as baristas. What do you think? 16. Canceling the cuppa. Did you know that at one point in the 1990s, Starbucks was opening up a new shop each and every workday? But the recession took its toll by 2008, and as customers lost the money, they lost the taste for lattes as well. Nearly 1,000 stores were shuttered worldwide, including more than 60 of their locations in Oz, which were eventually sold off altogether. In the U.S. alone, more than 18,000 jobs were cut from 2008 to 2009. 15. forbidden zone. With a population exceeding 1.3 billion people, China offers a lot of growth opportunities for many US-based companies. Starbucks has more than 2,500 locations in the country, but back in 2007, the company attracted a lot of attention when they had to close one venue in Beijing's Forbidden City. Built in 1420, the Forbidden City is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and polls showed that 70% of citizens felt the Starbucks shop was a desecration to the Chinese culture. A vigorous online protest stated as much, and that campaign attracted 500,000 signatures. Given the choice to continue there under another name and sell other brands of coffee, Starbucks shut down the operation. But that has not halted their growth in China by any means. By 2021, they plan to have around 5,000 stores in the country. 14. Pour it on. If you have a little extra time, consider ordering pour-over coffee next time you visit Starbucks. All locations serve it, even though it's not always advertised. Many customers find it superior to the traditional brewed drip variety that Starbucks normally serves. Only thing is, pour-over coffee takes longer to prepare, so you have to factor in the extra time it takes. 13. Starbucks Italiano. Even though they employ certain Italian terms for the coffee sizes like grande and venti, there's never been a Starbucks in Italy. Until now. Well, actually, the company is planning to open the first operation there in late 2018. The 2,400 square meter cafe will be located in Milan, and it's already got local coffee houses scrambling to meet the challenge posed by the coffee titan from the US. If the Milan experiment percolates as expected, Starbucks plans to open some 200 stores in Italy within a decade. 12. Percolated patronage. Are you a loyal Starbucks customer? If so, you account for more than 20% of the company's sales. An average customer patronizes the shop around 6 times each month, and that is very commendable. However, the loyal customers number around 20% and visit 16 times a month at least. 11. The caffeine connection. While Starbucks and Peet's Coffee are rivals, they do share a connected history together. Jerry Baldwin was one of Starbucks' co-founders, and he worked at Peet's Berkeley location, which is considered to be where the whole concept of American specialty coffee originated. Now, Baldwin, along with his partners Zev Siegel and Gordon Bowker, learned how to roast coffee beans from Peet's founder Alfred Pete himself. Upon opening in 1971, Starbucks bought their green coffee beans from Peet's. 10. The Caffeine Connection Part 2. But that is not the end of the story with Peet's. One of Starbucks' original founders, the aforementioned Jerry Baldwin, actually bought Peet's Coffee. Then, in 1987, he, along with Starbucks' 2 other original founders, sold their interest in the coffee giant to focus on Peet's. Baldwin remained as chairman of that company till 2001, when it was taken public, and he became a director there. 9. So many choices. If you want to try all of Starbucks Frappuccino combinations, be prepared for one long visit. There are some 36,000 possible combinations of the popular drink. In fact, the company says that if all the modifiers and customization options were applied to the core beverages, you would have some 87,000 possible combinations to choose from. 8. Coffee calamity. You ever hear of the Chantico? Well, chances are you haven't. Or you just forgot about it. Starbucks likely wants to keep it that way. The Chantico was a rich, sweet, chocolatey drink that debuted in 2005. Served in 6-ounce cups, it was inspired by the drinking chocolate found in Europe. But because it could not be customized, it never caught on, and it was discontinued a year later. 7. Counting calories. Now, if you've got an appetite for food in addition to a thirst for coffee, think twice before choosing Starbucks' culinary offerings. Many of them contain more than 400 calories. The chicken artichoke on flatbread has over 500 calories, and so does the turkey pesto panini. The cheddar and egg breakfast sandwich has about the same number, while a slice of chocolate marble loaf cake is a little lighter at 490 calories. But then contrast that with a double cheeseburger from McDonald's at a mere 430 calories. 6. All perked up. So what was the most you've ever spent at a Starbucks? Well, most of us would likely say too much. But in the case of one guy, he spent over $100 on a single drink. It was a white Frappuccino loaded with 5 bananas, protein powder, chocolate chips, and 112 shots of espresso. The exact total was $102.40. Now, here's the really amazing thing. Because it was this customer's birthday, he got that drink for free. Maybe he planned that out ahead of time, you think? 5. Starbucks equals big bucks. Starbucks had their initial public offering in 1992. A share of the stock went for $17 then. Now, taking into account stock splits, your average cost per share now would be around 27 cents. If you had invested, say, $1,000 with Starbucks 25 years ago, that little coffee bean would have grown into a big beanstalk worth more than 200,000 smackers today. Now that is enough to give you the jitters. 4. World domination. Since its founding in 1971, the Seattle-based coffee chain has pretty much conquered the caffeinated world. Did you know they have more than 27,000 coffee houses located in 70 countries around the globe? Nearly 14,000 of those locations are found in the U.S. alone. 3. Caffeine fiends. If you really need a quick pick-me-up, a can of Red Bull might do the trick. It is noted for its high caffeine content that'll give you wings. But if you really want to soar, check out a 20-ounce venti coffee from Starbucks. While a standard 8-ounce can of Red Bull contains 77 milligrams of caffeine, the 20-ounce venti contains an electrifying 415 milligrams of caffeine, which is actually more than twice the amount found in a shot of 5-hour energy. So guzzle down the venti, and you will not need wings to fly. 2. Literary reference. If you've ever read the classic Moby Dick by Herman Melville, you know there's a minor character there named Starbuck. Now he's Captain Ahab's chief mate aboard the Pequod, the whaling vessel. Now since the founders of Starbucks included 2 teachers and a writer, it seems to make sense that they would choose a rather vague literary reference for the name of the company. Now their initial choice was actually the name of the ship itself, Pequod, but it was rejected. Maybe it would sound kind of odd to say, hey, let's go get us some Pequods, right? But maybe that was a bit better than another rejected name. How does Cargo House grab you? 1. Logo Logic, or Logo A Go-Go. Now, we are all familiar with the green and white Starbucks logo. It is practically iconic, but it has inspired its share of controversy over the decades. The image has even been linked to Illuminati conspiracy theories. Now, what exactly is depicted in that logo? It is actually a mermaid, and those shapes behind it represent her twin tail, not her arms and hands like some people have thought. The mermaid is supposedly modeled on a Norse woodcut from the 16th century, and it was meant to provide a nautical link to the coffee company's namesake, Starbucks. Now that logo became a bit more modest over the years as the mermaid's image was altered to the now familiar green and white design, sans company logo, and that one was adopted in 2011.